Faces of Abortion is the only television program of its kind that shows the powerful, real-life stories of women, men, and families who have suffered the devastation of abortion. Faces of Abortion touches hearts and changes lives in over 125 nations. Faces of Abortion is a program that will help you with healing from the heart and hope for the future. You will be given practical steps for healing in your life and help to end the suffering of abortion.
So it just overwhelmed me. And I thought the only way to escape the pain was to take my life.
I had a fear that I wouldn't be able to have my own children.
It brings heartache. It brings hurt.
And I knew they were tearing my baby apart.
I remember the cold feeling of the room.
I remember laying there and I just said to myself that I will never forgive myself for what I'm doing.
I believe that my life was spared that night just so that I could be here right now and say abortion hurts women.
Whisper, be silent no more.
Welcome to Faces of Abortion. I'm your host, Cindy Collins, and I'm with Alan Parker, who is president of the Justice Foundation, our co-host, and Clayton Trotter, general counsel of the Justice Foundation, our other co-host, and our very special friend and very special guest, Linda Schleter.
Welcome, Cindy.
Linda.
Thank you.
We're celebrating a tremendous victory of the Lord at the United States Supreme Court. They have now upheld Congress's ban on a particular method of abortion called partial birth abortion. And the Justice Foundation was there with your help, with the help of the ladies of Operation Outcry. We're going to talk about that today, but we have to give you the background. How did we come to this victory? And in order to understand it, you need to hear from Sandra Cano, who was Doe of Doe v. Bolton, the companion case to Roe v. Wade, the two cases that brought abortion to America and later the world. So now you're going to hear her story from Sandra in her own words.
Thank you all very much as panelists. And we will start with Sandra Cano, who is also known as Doe in Doe v. Bolton. I believe this is the first time you've ever testified regarding this issue, and it's significant. It's tough for you. I want to say thank you for being here, and we'll receive your testimony now.
The Doe v. Bolton Supreme Court decision bears my name. I am Sandra Cano, the former Doe of Doe v. Bolton. Doe v. Bolton is a companion case to Roe v. Wade. Using my name and life, Doe v. Bolton falsely created the health exception that led to abortion on demand and partial birth abortion. How it got there is still pretty much a mystery to me. Please understand, even though I have lived what many would consider an unstable life and overcome many devastating circumstances, at no time did I ever have an abortion. I did not seek an abortion, nor do I believe in abortion. Yet my name and life is now forever linked with the slaughter of 40 to 50 million babies. I am angry. I feel like my name, life, and identity have been stolen and put on this case without my knowledge and against my wishes. How dare they use my name and my life this way? One of the justices of the Supreme Court said during oral arguments in my case, "What does it matter if she is real or not?" Well, I am real and it does matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kano. It's a very difficult thing to do, and I appreciate very much your willingness to come forward and to testify and to answer questions.
Welcome back to Faces of Abortion. I'm sure you learned some new things about Sandra Kano, the Doe of Doe v. Bolton, and the development of abortion in America from hearing her testimony. She actually never wanted an abortion. She fled to Oklahoma to avoid being forced to have an abortion during the pendency of the case. But today, by God's grace, her name is now written in the records of a judicial opinion in the United States Supreme Court in the partial birth abortion case, and it's a victory upholding a federal ban on partial birth abortion. And we're very glad to have Linda Schlueter with us today. Linda was the lead counsel on an amicus brief. So tell us who you represented and what an amicus brief is.
Thank you, Ellen. It was a real privilege to represent and write this brief for Sandra Kano and 180 post-abortive women, such as Cindy, whose name was on the brief, and to
Our
be
own
able,
Cindy Collins.
Our own Cindy Collins,
Oh.
and to be able to share that story. And I thought that was an important one because Leroy Carhart, as an abortionist, had his views heard by the court, but the women who have experienced an abortion, who have had to live with this in their lives, their views were not being represented. And so this was very important to be able to do that.
That's right. And let me go back a little bit. How did we know what women felt about abortion? We've collected these affidavits over the last 7 years, sworn testimony from women around the nation who've had abortion, and we've collected that at the Justice Foundation through Operation Outcry, a project of the Justice Foundation. And then you took this evidence, and what did you do with it?
Well, it ended in a brief called an amicus brief, which is a friend of the court brief. And what that does is to provide information to the court that it ordinarily would not have, but would help it to make that decision. And so, again, as the court heard from abortionists and their views, they needed to hear from women and what has happened to them in the succeeding years.
Yes, so I want you to read some of those to us,
happy to.
so that we, through you, the lawyers, helped the women, because they could not be at the Supreme Court, but we were able to give them a voice at the Supreme Court.
That's correct.
And what did we tell them on behalf of the women?
And Linda, before you do that, I want to thank you for what you've done in representing the other 179 women who courageously stepped forward and allowed their names and their testimonies to make a difference and really make a history in our nation.
Well, I really admire the post-abortive women who